What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex. In this video, I want to talk about if we're going to see either Harry Potter Magic Awakened or Batman Arkham Crisis at E3 2019. Now, this is kind of following up a video I made yesterday. I talked about the recent Batman leaks going in and really all the stuff we knew about Batman with the two studios from Warner Brothers Entertainment or Warner Brothers Interactive Gaming leading in to E3. Now, the thing you have to think about with this, I'm gonna break down really what I'm thinking. I think this E3, it comes down to one of those two games being announced. I don't see there being any other way or any other thing that's going to happen from Warner Brothers that's this big besides one of these two games. And really, we can leave out one very big development team from them now in Rocksteady. After 2 days ago, we got the word on the street or word from their co-director or co-founder of the studio that they will not be there, that they're still working on a game and they're not ready to show it. This has been the case for 4 years now, and it's pretty insane, and honestly, it's very disappointing that this is not going to show up. But you know what? That eliminates that. But that really puts pressure, I think, on one of these two games. There technically could be a third, and it could be a third Middle-earth game. We could get a Shadow of Something game. And I don't think that's going to happen, but that is a development team in Monolith Studios that is owned by Warner Bros. But at the same time, Cyberpunk is actually going to be published by them as well. So although CD Projekt Red is developing it, it will be published by Warner Bros. So, they have something big there. They definitely, have their big game in terms of what we already know. And I think we will get a release date of Cyberpunk at E3. So they have their big gun there. But at the same time, this is one of the biggest studios, I think, in gaming. I mean, we think of, obviously, the first-party studios that are owned by Sony, that are owned by Microsoft, Nintendo's team. All of these are very, very big. We got Ubisoft, we got EA. There's a lot of very big corporations, a lot of big publishers in the gaming world that have quite a few studios that take up a lot of the AAA realm. They make the biggest games, they get the most press, they get the most hype, and some of them definitely deserve it because they have a long history of delivering big games. And Warner Bros. Is one that I think maybe gets left behind a little bit, but definitely is a very big player. They've done the Hitman games in the past, they've published them, so they have a very wide range of, like I said, Hitman, Middle-earth, Cyberpunk. They have a studio, they have Rocksteady, and they have a couple teams in Montreal, New York, San Francisco, known for Arkham Origins in terms of the Montreal team. So there is a lot there. And I think when it comes to new announcements, you have to have one of these two. And we talked about yesterday's video how I basically want one of the three. I want either a Harry Potter announcement, I want a Batman Origins, that team's announcement, or I want a Rocksteady announcement. Now, Rocksteady is out, so they're no longer there. And I think what that leaves now is a confliction of you either need that Harry Potter game, and there's a lot, I think, backing up why this could very, very well be shown at this year's E3. And we will go over it very fast. If you remember, the leaks came out back in October of 2018, right before the Game Awards. And this was a thing that was leaked, and a lot of people thought maybe they could show it, maybe they'll have their own thing showing it off, leading up into Fantastic Beasts 2. It'd be really good to tie it into that. That came and went, nothing happened. Then the Game Awards, and we thought, well, you know what? This happened right before the Game Awards. They're trying to make the Game Awards, bigger and bigger every year with surprise announcements. Maybe this shows up at the Game Awards. And it's not like Warner Bros. Has never done this before. Arkham City was announced at the Game Awards back then as well. So people thought that could happen, and then that came and went. And what we're left with now is a game that really, by all accounts, is really making progress and really getting close to being made and being done. And the question is, when would Harry Potter come out? I think really what it seems to be aiming for is a fall of 2020 release. I think that seems pretty fair. And if you remember, and Tyler has brought this up to me as well, is the third Fantastic Beasts film has been delayed a year, so now it's coming out in 2021. But when this game was in development, maybe they did not know that, and it's very, very possible they could have tried to line this game up with the development time with when they thought this game would be done. I'm not saying this is a movie tie-in game. I'm saying, just to kind of piggyback on each other. The movie can go off of the game, and the game could go off of the movie in terms of hype. They probably thought that the movie was still coming out in 2020, so maybe when they were making, this game, or when they still are making this game, that is probably that internal internal date that they had set up. And it seems like that, by all accounts, is the right thing. We based on the trailer, based on the stuff we heard about this game, it's pretty far along. This is not a game that started up like a month before these leaks came out. This is a game that's been in the works for a while. And they could announce it next year. They could announce it in 2020's E3, and then it would come out that fall. And Warner Bros. I feel like is one of those publishers that likes that. And I think with Rocksteady especially, that's what they're shooting for, because I truly cannot believe that they won't show anything of their game, even if it's a year or two out. Like, it's not like the game that they're working on is 3 years out and they don't want to show it. I really feel like that Rocksteady game is very close. They're just ones that want to show it and then have it come out. Again, Arkham Knight was shown off at E3, was supposed to come out that, I think, October, so just a few months, just like 4 or 5 months after it was announced, and then it got delayed to June. It got delayed, yes, but the goal was that it was announced and then it would come out within 4 to 5 months, kind of that Fallout approach, which is good for building up hype, because you announce it and then bam, you have a couple months to talk about it, build up anticipation, then the game releases. Fallout came out as a broken mess, but it's a good strategy. So that's what I think Rocksteady is doing. When it comes to the rest of them, though, I don't think they necessarily have to do that. I think with Rocksteady, you can announce your game and then have it come out within 6 months of showing it, and it would be all fine. But at the same time, you still have two other very, very big ones. Firstly, Warner Bros. Montreal is working on 2 AAA games. Again, we talked about that before. I 100% think one of them is Batman. I say Arkham Crisis just because, that it keeps jumping around. It was Arkham Insurgency, Arkham Crisis, Arkham Outlaws. There's been a lot of different names thrown around, but really the Court of Owls storyline is the thing that's kind of became central or stayed central in all these games. I feel like that's one of those 2 AAA games. I feel like that's the closest one. And then in terms of this Harry Potter one, again, these are 2 games, both this Batman one and both Harry Potter. You can announce one of them at E3 and still have them come out over a year from now, and it would be fine. I mean, Sony does it all the time. Sony did it for Ghost of Tsushima. Sony did it for Death Stranding, The Last of Us. Xbox, Microsoft, they did it for Halo Infinite. They did it for Gears 5. There's so many examples of studios doing it. Ubisoft, yeah, they show their games and then they release within probably 6 months. For Honor, Watch Dogs, Assassin's Creed. But at the same time, they get leaked way before then, and we're kind of expecting the game to come out. We know Assassin's Creed is coming out fall of 2020. We really had a lot of tip-offs that Watch Dogs 3 was coming out this fall. So there's a lot of knowledge there. So that, that's a little bit different. But I think with a publisher like Warner Bros. And with developers like these ones that are working on Harry Potter and Batman, this is their chance. I think this can honestly steal the show. I've talked about that a lot. I think an announcement of a Harry Potter Magic Awakened steals E3. It steals it from the next generation of Xbox, because really it's not going to be much. We talked about in the leaks. We had a leaked video of Microsoft's conference, so we know what they're going to be saying. It's not going to be all that impressive. They're not going to talk about it even for all that long. And even a Batman game. To me personally, I love those Arkham games. I will support an Arkham game to death. So if they announce that, that would be something to me. I think in the wider scheme of things, I think people would be more excited for Harry Potter, and I think that's the one you go for. I think that if you're going to announce one of the 2, and I truly can't see them announcing both. I'd love it if they announce both, but I truly don't see them announcing both a new Batman Arkham game and also a Harry Potter, because same publisher, and yeah, I mean, there's a lot of publishers that announce a lot of games all at once, and it's E3. That's kind of what you do, but I feel like they don't have all that many massive games, and you already have Cyberpunk you have to talk about, and again, them being a publisher to it, you have to push that, and you're going to have a release date of that, so you already have Cyberpunk, beneath your belt. When it comes to these other 2 games, I don't know if you want them competing on like Amazement. Having the word be out that they're both announced at the same time, I feel like they kind of take away from one another. And to be honest, I think Harry Potter would take away way more from Batman. I think when you think of Warner Brothers Montreal, they've been working on it for so long. They've had so many canceled projects, and it's just been basically a catastrophe over there. And now they're finally getting things sorted out. Again, finally working on 2 games at the same time, one of them being closer than the other. Potter, I don't think you kind of have that announcement and then have it just be pounded to death by a much bigger Harry Potter announcement. So if I, had to choose, I think I personally want Harry Potter. I really love the Arkham games. They're some of my favorite games of all time, but this Harry Potter game just seems like absolutely amazing and a game that I will support 100%, and I can't wait to play, and I can't wait to see what we actually get to do and actually be able to see it gameplay wise. And at the same time, it also makes the most sense logically from their perspective. Announcing Harry Potter makes the most sense. Imagine coming out of E3 and now we know Cyberpunk's release date, and we also know that there's a Harry Potter RPG game that they announced. They showed gameplay of it. It comes out fall of 2020. Imagine being Warner Bros. I think you'd probably win. I think as a publisher, that would be the best show. I think Nintendo will have a great show. I know they're not actually going, but the Nintendo Direct and stuff. I think Microsoft will have a decent show, but honestly, I think with those two announcements, Warner Bros. Would easily win E3 in terms of publishers, in terms of those kind of shock announcements. So guys, what do you think? Do you think we're going to get a Batman Arkham announcement from Warner Bros. Montreal, or do you think we're going to get that Harry Potter Magic Awakened announcement, or do you think it's going to be something else? I mean, they could announce Hitman 3. I doubt it. It didn't sell very well. Hitman 1 and 2. I feel like Hitman 3 will come. It'll just take a while. Maybe a Shadow of Blank, a Middle-earth game. That could definitely happen. There's other things they could totally announce, but what do you think Warner Bros. Will announce at E3? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure you guys subscribe to our YouTube channel, Podcast Now. Hit the bell icon so you guys know when these videos go up. And thank you, as always, for watching, and I will see you on the next video.